Hey there. Hello. This is National Sales Director Caterina Harris Earl, and I am so excited to be coming to you really the day after Christmas. And for many, this is your off day, so you are still celebrating Christmas. I want to just give you a moment. Hold on, I'm setting my timer. And I want to give you a moment for a few people to chime in. I know many people are on vacay. I would love to know where you are listening in from, and even those of you that are watching the replay. I would love to know. Hello, my friend Maury, and those of you that are listening. This is such a privilege. It is such a privilege to be able to come to you and to share a little bit of my story and a little bit of why I'm so excited about December, about the month of December. Again, my name is Caterina Harris Earl, and I'm coming to you from Brentwood, California. And I'm just giving you just a moment to see who else pops in. Really, thank you, Maury, for giving me this opportunity to come into your group. My only regret is that my Espanol is not good enough to be able to speak for 45 minutes. And it is truly one of my most important goals. And so, really want to definitely work on that. And so, I'm grateful for those of you that are able to listen in, tune in, and understand my English that I am still always working on. And so, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get started. Passionate, powerful, disciplined, and fun. My life is so rich because of God's Son. I share Mary Kay with Women of Quality, and that is how you claim the position as an NSD, leading women of purpose with the vision and with the plan, with 10 brand new sales directors on that seminar stage. We will stand looking sugar sharp and fine in my national sales director suit, the freedom, the flexibility others dream of. And did they tell you about all the loot? We will not rest. We will join the best. The path has been laid and the mission is oh so very clear. We are stepping into that diamond circle position this year, for it is our season and it is our day. A fresh anointing is truly flowing my and your way. The best is yet to come, on that you can bet. And guess what? You ain't seen nothing yet. I am that pink Escalade driving and diamond circle striving national sales director, gold circle national sales director from Brentwood, California and Chicago, Illinois. And my name is Caterina Harris Earl. I'm super excited to be able to share some of the story with you. And again, Merry Christmas to those of you. I love this business and it loves me back. And I love the choices and the options. And so today, yes, today I did put on my national suit just for you because you know has been a PJ season. How many of you, I know some of you got dressed full makeup, full glamour, full hair, full everything yesterday, but how many of us stayed in our PJs 24/7 the entire time? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? I mean, we wring out every single ounce of this season of the year. And it's just such a blessing for my husband who travels globally so much. He's been in so many different countries in the past few months. It is just a blessing for me to have him home with my mama and the dog and enjoying this time. So this is just going to be an opportunity to learn a little bit about me, y'all. I've been building my business with Mary Kay since 1991. And if someone had told me that I'd be a Mary Kay beauty consultant, I would have looked at them like they were crazy because my image of Mary Kay was beehive hair and tacky pink cars. And why in the world would anyone take a look at a business like this? I just thought that in a million years, it was not something that I ever would do. I wasn't interested. I wasn't thinking about sales. I just thought Mary Kay people were tacky. And I was getting my master's degree when I came in. I was going to USC, the University of Southern California, and I had an undergraduate degree in economics and political science. And so some people would say I was smart. I would say I was smart, but I had a big old student loan. I had a $100,000 undergraduate education, and 50% of it I had scholarships, and 50% I had to pay. So that meant I had a $50,000 undergraduate loan. Now I was going to grad school, and grad school was going to cost me $60,000 a year. And I was either going to do 3 years or I was going to do 5 years and get my law degree. And so doing that math, y'all, it was going to cost me at least $200,000 for grad school, at least. And so I didn't mention that at the same time I was in grad school, I was working 60 hours a week. 60 hours a week for a nonprofit. The key word is non, okay? Non, which means no money. Really, seriously, those that work in the nonprofit industry tend to be the most educated, brokest people you'll ever meet. So that was me. I was working for the mayor's office in Oakland, in the hood. Most people would call it the hood, okay? The wrong side of the tracks. But when I laid my head down on the pillow at night, felt like I was making a difference. A lot of times those jobs, the teacher, the nurse, you can make pretty good money as a nurse, but certainly as a teacher, nurses, those that work in ministry, and those that work in nonprofit, they give back. I mean, so many that are working in the communities right now that are feeding homeless and so many that are in need. They're making a huge difference. They're highly educated and they're low paid. So that was me. So I was working 60 hours a week and I was in grad school. And I was in grad school 2 hours away from my house. So I'm just telling you the story. This is 1991. I'm telling you the story so you can get a visual of what my life was like. It was crazy busy. I had no time. I was driving a hoopty, which means sometimes it started and sometimes it didn't. Okay. And so I was commuting 2 hours from Oakland to our state capital in Sacramento for grad school. And I was weaving grad school in between work. So that's what I was doing. One day I was having a conversation with a male friend of mine, Daryl. Now, fast forward to today, Daryl is very successful um, and owns art galleries and very successful. Back then, he was working nonprofit. I was working on the west side and he was working on the east side. And so I was having some financial problems and I was just having a money conversation with Daryl. I remember one day. And then we started talking about work. And I said, Daryl, I need somebody to come out because my job was to place young adults and help them get employment, mostly women that were teenage moms or they were young adult moms. And so my job was to place them in employment. And I looked at some of them and I had to help them pull their skirts down and their blouses up. You know what I mean? Okay. Too much cleavage and too much boob, too much leg. All right. And so, in order to prepare them to go into the workforce and to do an interview, I wanted someone to come in and do an image workshop. And I said, do you know anybody who could help with image, like someone who does maybe makeup or something? And why did I say that? Now, consultants, all throughout my story, you're going to hear not just what made me successful, but you're going to hear some really important tips. My recruiter's name is Tammy. She was friends with Daryl, and Daryl knew about her business. So, my first question I want to ask you is, do you keep your business a secret? Tammy was one of the number one consultants in all of the Bay Area back in the 90s. And Daryl knew about her business. He said, I have a homegirl, and she does something like Mary Kay or something like that. And I think she does free facials. And I said, it's free, free, free. Would you have her give me a call? He followed up, gave Tammy my number. Step number 2, how good is your follow up? Tammy followed up with me and I was impressed that it was free. Now, it was a government funded program, so I made it really clear to her, you're not going to sell anything, are you? I was kind of rude. Okay. She said, no, I won't sell. And she came out. You guys, she had no idea that while she was there to be able to make a difference for these young women, got all these braids going on. Okay. While she was there to make a difference for all these young women, she had no idea that she was going to recruit a national sales director. Now, I want you to hear the words coming out of my mouth, because many of you are working really hard to qualify for Nashville. Some of you are qualified for Nashville. Some of you are working to get in red. Some of you are brand new consultants. Some of you are sales directors that are finishing your Start Strong and you've got all kinds of goals. Many of us are working to finish the Stars and Guitars party, and you've got to get on target. And you know that some of the sharpest women come into Mary Kay in December. I want you to hear that. Many of you are setting big goals of what you're going to do between December 26th and December 31st, because we've got a lot of work to do and a lot of time. And I want you to hear what I'm saying. You want to finish strong and start well. You can finish strong and you can start strong, because I am one of the women who said no in December. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You are going to find the women that said yes. As a matter of fact, Tammy was so strong in the month of December that she went on to become the #1 consultant at our Jamboree in January. Okay, this is even before I came into Mary Kay. So she got a lot of sales and a lot of recruiting in the month of December. But I want you to understand that to get the yeses in December, you're going to hear a lot of no's. And I was a no. Are you hearing me? I was a no. She met me, came out to my job in October. She followed up with me strong in October. She followed up in November. She followed up in December, probably a couple of times, but I was a no. Why was I a no in December? Because in the nonprofit world, one of the things that I got off was time. They made up for time off in exchange for no cash. So I got almost the whole month of December off. So what did that mean? I was broke as a joke. There was no way I was having a Mary Kay lady come to my house in December. I had no money. I couldn't buy a lipstick. So I said no. So I want you to understand that while you're finishing your December goals, make sure you're also packing your date book for January, because that was me. She came to my job in October and did what she said she was going to do, but she offered me a facial. I wasn't interested in a facial. I didn't want to try Mary Kay for myself. I just wanted her to do this free thing at the job. But I was nice. Tammy was nice. Now listen, her image sold me over. Tammy looked like Halle Berry. She was young. She was beautiful. All she did was Mary Kay, and she was active in her church, and her husband were starting a family. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. But she followed up with me and followed up with me in a way where she wasn't pushy, but she was pleasantly persistent. Write it down. Write down people skills. Her people skills were great. I noticed I liked her, but I didn't want a facial, but I liked her. I didn't want Mary Kay, but I liked Tammy. There was something about her. So it's for you to master the people skills, your image, your follow-up. She wasn't pushy right now. She wasn't pushy at all. I could see Tammy right now. As a matter of fact, when I became a national sales director, I called her, thanked her, and re-recruited her. Get excited. Okay. So she's no longer on my team now, but she was for a good portion of the time. Because y'all, listen to this. I was her last recruit before she quit Mary Kay. She was a superstar, but she quit right before she got all the success from having an Offspring National. That's a whole nother talk show. So I want to tell you that finally she called me in January, y'all. Now she followed up with me because there's fortune in the follow-up. She followed up with me in December. I said no. She called me in January. Guess what happened in January? My birthday. See, there's a rhythm to life, right? And a lot of people make decisions in December because they want to start the new year. There's a lot of people that want to start with an e-commerce business. There's a lot of people that need a tax deduction. It's like having a baby without the 18-year commitment, okay? And without the 12-month commitment, you can get some good tax deductions in 2022 by getting started with your business now. But I have a birthday in January, and so my kind of start for the new year always is around my birthday. Women say yes in their birthday month a lot. So do you follow up with women during their birthday month? Really important, you guys. Women treat themselves. They spend money on themselves, and they make decisions. A lot of times around their birthday, they make a decision. I was 24 years old, and I said yes. Tammy wrote me this little note, and it said, super excited about coming to your house. If you grab a girlfriend or two, I'll have a gift for you. Please put this on your refrigerator as a reminder. She was coming over on a Sunday. It was the Sunday before my birthday. Totally forgot. This is BC, before cell phones and before computers, before many of you were born. And I came home from church and I went to my refrigerator. There was no food there. I was on my way to Boston Market. I could taste it. I was going to get the chicken and some macaroni and cheese. Okay. I closed the refrigerator door and I saw that note and I said, oh my gosh, this Mary Kay lady's coming to my house. Write it down. Pray for women that are women of their word. One of the things you want to do when you book people is you want to do something I call handshake with your words. You know, um, Maury, for some people, this is a hobby, but for me, this is a business. I'm super excited about connecting with you on December 26th at 4 o'clock. I know it's a day after Christmas, but I promise it will be so fun. You can count on me to be there and it'll be a lot of fun. Can I also count on you? Awesome. Thanks so much. You want to make sure that you have women that are women of their word and that you say something like that when you book people. For some people, this is a hobby, but for me, this is a business. I'm super excited. Whether you're meeting them virtually or whether you're meeting them in person, you want to say that. Well, that's kind of what Tammy said to me. And then I saw this postcard. Now, I want you to understand this. How long does it take a woman to get two people over to her house? How long does it take a woman to get two people to join you on Zoom, Facebook? Doesn't take long. I had not planned. Now, this is the other thing I want you to hear. I'm throwing a lot of things at you. I'm a D personality. My personality style is not a party holding personality. I would never have held a Mary Kay party, but I would invite two friends. Get it? Okay. I would never hold a party, but I would invite two friends. So she used the term with me, invite a couple girlfriends instead of calling it a party because I go to parties, but I'm not doing one. That's like, it's not me. Plus, I certainly would not hold a party for you until I really know you because what you did at the job was one thing, but my friends, you're not going to embarrass me in front of my friends. I got to know you know what you're doing. So I saw this and I said, oh, I promised her. I get called up my girlfriend. She just so happened, my best girlfriend, you know, that one girlfriend that you don't have to give much notice to. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm taking my cousin back to UC Berkeley after Sunday dinner. And I said, great, you have to drop by my house. And I told her she needed to come by my house on the way. So her cousin came by and they came to the Mary Kay facial. Tammy walked in looking fabulous, image again. And she did what we do: read a book, squirt a tube, flip a page. That's all we do. And at the end, I only wanted two things, it all. I only had two problems: no cash. But women possess a skill of walking in the mall. This just happened for Christmas, walking in the mall with no money and walking out with 8 bags. I spent $125. Tracy spent $125. Tracy was my very first recruit in Mary Kay, you guys, and she is my offspring sales director, my best friend. I brought in, where do your team members come from? You bring in your best friends and you make best friends. So all of my recruits are my best friends. All right. They're either people I knew before Mary Kay or people I've met while I'm in Mary Kay. And so at that time, Tracy fell in love with the product and she booked us for a second appointment. Now, listen, the reason it's important for that second appointment is because it's about building relationship. At the second appointment, we didn't do it at my house because I don't do parties. Tracy does parties. So she invited our college girlfriends. Everybody was broke. They're all successful now, but everybody was in grad school and law school. I couldn't believe that she sold $250 at my house, $300 at Tracy's house. And then she did something called the 4-point recruiting plan. It's so elementary until we almost forget to teach it. But at every single skincare class, you say, who's coming today, who you think might be good at doing what I do? You say that to the hostess. And she probably said something like that to Tracy, my girlfriend who was holding the party. The other thing you do at every single party is you do a crackerjack enthusiastic eye story. I came into Mary Kay because before Mary Kay, I'm excited about my business because where I'm going with my business is, and the reason I'm telling you this is I'm looking for a few key people to do what I do, teach skincare. Never know who. Mary Kay says at every single class, there's always one or two people who'd be great doing what I do. I wonder who it would be at this party. You never know. Just kind of watch what I do and see how much fun I have. You might decide you want to be one of my business associates. Okay, ladies, let's go ahead and take that mask off. I mean, you do an eye story. And at every single skincare class, you offer the hostess a gift for referrals, for referring someone to you, for being a talent scout. And number four is at every single skincare class, you, at that individual consultation, you make sure that you offer this career and work on scheduling a couple of interviews. Select one or two people at every party. Well, guess what? Tammy selected me. And at the end of that party, she invited me for an interview with her. She invited me to lunch on February 14th. That's how it played out. I was young, single, and free and did not have a date. So I went on the date with my Mary Kay lady, and that's the day I began my love affair with Mary Kay. Now, I want you to hear what I'm saying. 3 interviews a week, you guys, elbow to elbow, toe to toe, knee to knee, meeting a woman. We didn't have Starbucks back then. We met at Denny's, all right? But I'm telling you, I never would have asked Tammy to let me do Mary Kay. And I probably wouldn't have said yes if she had just said it to me in passing. But something happened when it was just me and her at the Denny's, and she shared. I watched her hold the first party, so she made money at my dining room table. I watched her hold the second party, so she was overcoming objections. Because what's my objection? Can you make money at this? Well, I watched her sell $550 to me and my broke friends. So that objection was already overcome. I was not asking her about the money. I was trying to see if I was the type, if I could do it. And I was trying to overcome the stigma of Mary Kay for me. So that's how I got started. I took a long time to tell you that, but I tried to weave in a lot of the things behind it because I was recruited textbook Mary Kay. So guess what I did when I came into Mary Kay? I held parties. Some people get frustrated because their team members go by the wayside. They're not working the business and they're trying to figure out what they need to do and what they're doing wrong. And I'm telling you, when people watch you hold parties, they will hold a party. And so I just held parties because that's all I saw her do. So in my first 10 days, I was like, I can't believe I sold $1,200 worth of Mary Kay. And my first year, I had added about $10,000 to my income. Now, I wasn't going to do this full time or anything, like, not really. But I got the red jacket bug. And then I got another recruit. And then I got another recruit. And then I got another. Now, y'all listen. I had 18 people on my team, and I still was not on target for my car. Why? Because the minimum order back then was 180. And 180 times a third of 18, people placing an order because not everybody ordered at the same time. And no one was qualified and no one was a star consultant. So it was not coming up to the 4,000 or the 5,000 that's needed now for car production. Here's why I'm successful with this suit on, because I did not quit. It was about my 19th recruit, y'all. Well, let me tell you what happened. Here we go. It was December. So I came in, I had my first appointment, my facial it turned out to be a party in January of 91. Tracy's party was February. I recruited in February. I worked my business from February to December and added $10,000 to my income. I still was going to that job. Remember I told you we had the whole month of December off? So by December, I still was broke. Y'all, I still was broke again because I had, bills and my regular job was not there. I remember going to work in January. This will happen for many of you. And, it's after the holiday, you're running to work, you're trying to get everything going. And so I had to race to work, and there was a railroad track that was right there. If I didn't make it past the railroad track, the train would take like 20 minutes. I'd be late for work. So I was running, parked my car, dropped my purse off, and ran to the meeting that I had to go to the first of every month. When I got to the door, the woman I worked for, who was the executive director of the nonprofit, said, Caterina, you no longer have to come to this meeting. She wasn't nice about it. She didn't smile. She didn't explain. She just told me you don't have to go to the meeting. Now, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I went back to my office and I said, I'm about to plan my escape. Something is going to go down. You guys, it was the middle of a recession in the middle of a war. It was Desert Storm. It was an election that just happened. Y'all, nothing changes except for the hair and the makeup. Here we are again. Talk of recession. Here we are again. We're praying that there's no war. There's something taking place right now called the K economy. Write it down. Write a K, the letter K. It's called the K economy. And what is happening is the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And we're experiencing it. It's not, I know you understand because you understand how to look at things from a global perspective. It's not just America, right? It's happening globally. It's happening all over the world. It's not a Republican or a Democratic issue. It really is a spiritual issue if you really want me to go there. But there's so much that's happening, you guys. Now, who are the people who made money during the pandemic? Those that are on the upward part of the K. As a matter of fact, they didn't just make money, their income went up. My income increased by 70% during the lockdown. And so did the income of my sales directors. Mine may have gone up more than 70%, but the average for my directors was 70%. And many people lost their job and it has continued to decrease. What's the difference? Those that are on the upward part of the K can make money with their fingerprints. And those that are on the lower part of the K make money with their footprints. What does that mean? Fingerprints. You can be any place. I just need my cell phone and a Wi-Fi connection, and I can work from anywhere. Anywhere. Many people, if your sole source of income is from a job that requires you to be present at a particular location, or even entrepreneurs that say do hair, or someone else who's doing a freelance makeup, that you have to go to a particular place, you have to go there. Everyone needs an e-commerce business and an opportunity to make money in this way. So there I was, January of 1992. I made the decision that I wanted to be in control. Now, this is BC. There wasn't any internet. We didn't have any of that. Okay. There was no K economy back then. But I'm telling you, 4 months later, I had earned a car. The whole year, I couldn't get the car production together, but something happens when your why is strong. My why got strong. And so 4 months later, I earned a car. 3 months later, I quit my job and became a sales director. I took a leave of absence my last month of DIQ and I never went back. 3 months later, are you tracking with me? 4 months to car, 3 months to DIQ. 3 months later, I earned my pink Cadillac. And 3 months later, my department was eliminated. I laid them off and I created my own story before they made a story for me. I'm going to fast forward and just tell you this. Fast forward several years, I was a top director, you guys. I remember the day that my dad called, and I could count on my hands. Many of you can relate to this. I can count on my hands how many times in my life I had seen my dad cry or heard my dad cry. I remember a crack in my dad's voice. Two things had happened. My dad was an aircraft engineer, very smart, brilliant, self-trained, the hardest working man that I knew, provided and gave a great life. He was living in North Carolina, and he had a legal issue where he was wrongfully accused of a crime as an African-American man in the South. The second thing that happened, totally unrelated, is he was laid off his job and he found out that his retirement did not exist. I was packing for seminar. My dad was on the phone crying. What am I going to do? Beautiful home in North Carolina, beautiful BMW, the picket fence, the whole 9 yards. I said to my dad on the phone without hesitation, I said, Dad, start driving. My dad left his house. He had to leave. And the reason he had to leave, my father is deceased now. I didn't tell this story while he was alive, which is a whole other conversation. But my father was wrongfully accused. And so I knew that he needed to get himself out. And he wasn't running from the authorities. He was taking himself out of the situation because it involved his ex-wife. He was taking himself out of the situation so he could not be accused. He left his house with the clothes on his back in his car, and he started driving to Dallas, Texas. I got on a plane. If you've been to seminar, you know we have a luncheon at seminar. I gave my dad the badge and did what you're not supposed to do, but I snuck him in. I didn't really sneak him in. I had a badge. It was a spouse's badge. It wasn't my, but he came in. He sat down for lunch, ate lunch. I gave my dad the key to my apartment at the time. Because I was a Cadillac sales director, but I was still living in an apartment because I had a lot of debt, a lot of credit card debt, a lot of student loan debt, and I was working to pay that off. I handed my dad the keys to my apartment and I said, Dad, keep driving. By the time you get from Texas to California, seminar will be over because we were in the middle of seminar by this time, and I'll be back home. And I tell you guys that right now, I'm living in this beautiful home in one of the most popular places in California. My dad helped me build it. I sit here at this desk as a national sales director. My dad helped me become a national. I have an amazing husband now, but I prayed for a man, and the first man God sent me was my daddy. He helped me build my national area. You guys, Mary Kay allowed me to retire my dad. He never had to go back. His ex-wife tried to lay all of the blame on him. And when they went and found my father had gotten some parking tickets along the way, it was his proof that he wasn't even in the state. So he was totally exonerated from all of that and built a beautiful home. I tell you that my father, I'm 55, and my father passed away at 60. I was at Gloria Mayfield Banks' son's wedding. I was newly married, and my husband didn't know how to tell me. It was Gloria Mayfield Banks and my sister girlfriends who surrounded me because I'm a big daddy's girl. I know I'm talking to some daddy's girls who told me that my father had passed away. The number one thing I said as soon as I found out that he passed away suddenly, not sick, not anything, is I said, no regrets. My father lived with me from the time he was my age, from 54 to 67, and we built a great life together. And I would not trade it for the world. If it wasn't for Mary Kay, he would have had to go work for someone else. My mom, you guys, I'll tell you about my mom and what Mary Kay has allowed me to do for my mom. When my mom was my age, she was hit in the head by a 2x4. She was working at Home Depot. My mom's a diva. I mean, capital D. Thank Diana Ross. Thank Diane Carroll, if anyone's old enough to remember her. She's just a diva, all the way around diva. And she was working at Home Depot. This is her top, okay? My mom would go to Home Depot and have her Home Depot jacket on with her sequins top, okay? Like she was diva down. One day a 2x4 hit her in the head and she was knocked unconscious. My mom didn't have options. My parents had a great middle-class lifestyle, but they were divorced, and my mom, she had to work. So what did she do? She took some time off work and then she went back to work. And I remember when it was time for me to earn my car, my first car. I know I'm bouncing around. So let me take you back before I was a sales director. When I was going on driving for my car, when that woman said to me that I could no longer come into the office, when she said that to me, two things that drove me. I was driven because I did not want her to dictate my future because I didn't like the way she told me that my job was before. Now I no longer had that job. And my mother needed a car. It was the middle of carjacking. We hadn't had that term. These gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, were rising up in Los Angeles. My mom was living in LA. And I remember one day my mom called me at 3 a.m. Now, we didn't have cell phones, so she didn't call me from the freeway. She called me when she got home, and she said she had been stranded on I-5, one of the busiest highways in the nation, in the fast lane in the middle of the night in Los Angeles because her car broke down. I knew that I could make a difference. 4 months later, I earned my car and I took the car that I had purchased because before I believed that I could win a car, I used my Mary Kay earnings and I took my weekly accomplishment sheets. Y'all, I got so much to share, but I first went to try to buy a car with just my job income. They said no. Then I went back with my weekly accomplishment sheets and my job income, and they said, oh, you have a business. And so I bought a car because I didn't believe I could win one. But when my mama needed a car, y'all, I got a car. And I handed the keys to that new car to my mama, and I kept paying that note while I, um, when I picked up my free car. It's amazing what happened. So now you fast forward, and my mother had, she was a consultant, hit in the head by a 2x4. And I said, Mama, you should go on and become a sales director. My mom was one of the final sales directors to help us finish our national area. She went on to win her own pink Cadillac, you guys, and was able to leave that job. And I remember when my mom left the job at 54, I remember her saying, I feel like I'm on a permanent vacation. I love this. I absolutely positively love this. Now my mom lives with me, and it's just a beautiful life, you guys. We are right now planning for what all the nationals are planning to go to Greece. And right now, this morning, we were literally planning, is my mom going to come in ahead of time, or is she going to come in afterwards? Because my husband works in full-time ministry. I have a few tips. I'm going to give you 10 tips before we go in my last 10 minutes, but I have to tell you about my husband. He works in full-time ministry, and we spend a lot of time in Greece. So we have a big Greek family in ministry. And so we're going to bring my mom to meet them. One of her dreams is to finish the Holy Land tour. And so she wants to go to Rome, and she wants to go to Greece because she's been to Israel. And so what a blessing. Mary Kay will pay for my husband and I, and we will pay for my mom to go. And we were looking at business class seats to fly her the best. And it just will be amazing. And of course, she won't go alone. We'll have a companion to go with her, either to come in on the front or the back end while she travels with us. And then we'll go on our 7-day trip. Y'all, I want to tell you, every dream comes out of the starter kit. Where are the mamas at? I haven't been blessed to give birth to children. Because of Mary Kay, I learned how to do vision boards. I learned how to do goal posters. I learned how to take what scripture teaches us to write down all of your dreams and make them plain. And I learned how to write things down. And I wrote down everything I wanted in a man. And the first man I got was my daddy, and he was all those things. Then I changed the word man to husband. Literally, I had 37 things down. Now, I didn't just have it for him. I had things for me too, things that I wanted to do, be, and have for my husband. You guys, the day I met Mary Kay in October 1992 is the day that I met the woman who would become my cousin, because she would introduce me to her cousin who would become my husband. I was 45 and I still was single, you guys. So I met Beverly in 1992, and 21 years later, she introduced me to her cousin. And I like to say that my husband came out of the starter kit. I now have 5 grown children and 15 grandchildren that call me Gigi. All of that because I said yes to Mary Kay. And so we work together in full-time ministry, and we have a great life. All right. In the time that I have, I've taken so much time sharing my story. I just want to give you guys some nuggets. It's the end of the year, you guys. My theme for this year is shift. I want to challenge you to shift your perception from saying that you sell Mary Kay to fall in love with holding parties, fall in love with working this business and sharing this opportunity. You can't fail. You either learn or you grow. Those are the only 2 things. Do not be afraid of failure. This business is not easy, but it is simple. So many people overcomplicate it because we work totally through perspiration rather than inspiration. I didn't spend a lot of time telling you the how to do Mary Kay. Although this business, y'all, it's simple, but I got really good with the words. I got really good with people skills. I got really good with the product. My presentation was good. I learned how to overcome objections. I got not afraid. I made sure I was not afraid to ask people for the cash. Okay. I learned how to romance the product, but I also learned that I could tap into my own juice. You want to admire all of the nationals that you hear, but you do not have to be us. You want to be the best you. Absolutely positively be the best you. One of the first things and best things that I learned from my mentor, Gloria Mayfield Banks, is the importance of understanding my own strengths and mastering your own strengths. I want to challenge you to find your purpose. My purpose is to show women how to find their passion and live their dreams. That's my purpose. And that's what I do. So I hope today that it inspires you to find your own passion. What are you passionate about? Because when you work out of passion, you'll be broke. Okay. And you don't attract women. The tragedy on this side of eternity is not to fulfill your own mission. Don't be distracted from doing what God has called you to do. Distractions are not always bad things, they are often good things. Sometimes we even allow our kids to distract us, our husbands to distract us. We are our biggest distractions. Make sure you're focusing on keeping the main thing the main thing. God, family, career means exactly that. But it does not mean to use your family as an excuse. Believe in the possibilities. The possibilities are endless in this business, and Mary Kay has never been better for the time. Define your priorities. What are your priorities? You want to have a very long no list and a very short yes list. There are some things you're going to have to say no to. I said when I was earning my Cadillac in that short period of time, I had a sign on my TV that said, "Is what you're doing right now the most important thing to ensure that you have a Cadillac in your driveway by this date?" I had to change the date a few times, but I'm telling you, I sacrificed TV. I even sacrificed dates, y'all. I was a member of the 7-Eleven Club. If I did not have 11 appointments on my date book by Friday at 7, I could not go out. I don't care if it was Denzel Washington or Michael Jackson inviting me out on a date. I had to have 11 appointments on my date book. Get prepared. Make sure you're prepared so that when opportunity comes up, you don't have to wait. Do you have agreements? Do you have lookbooks? Do you have the things you need? Do you have product? Are you a star consultant? You got to be prepared so that wherever you are, you can work this business. I'm still working 100% virtually. Some people are 100% in person, and many of us are hybrid. But for goodness sakes, we're meeting people everywhere we go. Have patience in the process. This is not an overnight success, but I'm telling you, you can have success overnight, okay? You can't have it all in this business, but when you turn it on, some of you will get so turned on today that between December 27th and December 31st, you might have 0 recruits and you could be a red jacket. You might have 0 recruits and you could be on target for your car. You might have said, Nashville is not happening for me, and you could still get your 10. You have to be persistent and maintain that persistence. You've got to develop positivity and maintain that positivity. You've got to manage your perception. Things, if you perceive this business as hard, it will be hard. But if you perceive it as, I don't care how hard it is, I will do whatever is necessary to get the job done. You've got to envision the prosperity that's coming for you and your family. My entire wall over here, if I had my other camera on, I'd show you my entire wall over here. You know, back in the day, I just would take pictures and post them on the wall. Well, now I have this big, beautiful office. And so the wall over here is all black. And I have all of my little black frames, and I have everything I want in there. And I will tell y'all, listen to me. I put things up there at the beginning of this year and I have to take them down. I wanted to redo my entire downstairs. It's all done. I need to take that one down. I wanted to redo. I still have to finish part of my kitchen, and I still have to finish my what I'm doing in my bedroom. But much of what I put on my vision board has come to pass. Honor your passion. Work this business. Build your confidence, you guys. Develop your Mary Kay skill. I'm going to finish with this and just share with you that this business can make a difference for you financially. It can make a difference for you with friends. Many of you, if you follow me on social media, you know I am so close to Gloria Mayfield Banks and to all of our offspring nationals from the Magic family, friends of a lifetime. When I met and married my husband, it happened in 3 months. What a blessing that I could call my friend, my mentor, Gloria Mayfield Banks, and say, "Can I get married at your house?" And she said yes. So I got married at the #1 national sales director at the Times home. Beautiful wedding on 12/12/12 at 12/12. My bridesmaids or Menina Givens and Angelique Talbert, two women that I mentored in Mary Kay. The women that danced at my wedding, that did a praise dance, was a Mary Kay sales director. I could go on and on and on. The family and the friends that come from this business. The flexibility is tremendous. And most importantly, the foundational growth. I want to challenge you to push, you guys, like never before. I want to challenge you to believe like never before. And I want to challenge you to do like never before. This is December. Will you do what you said you were going to do on December 1st? I want to thank you for listening, and whoever will translate this or share this, I thank you so much, and I hope and pray that something I said will inspire you to be more, do more, and have more in your business. I love you, and I hope to see you at Leadership Conference 2023 and definitely at seminar. Bye-bye.